Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to World of Tanks. So, I have an interesting one here for you. I've got Peter Schiavo, and he's in his T29. Now, this replay I actually got off the official forums, and I couldn't find it. I wanted to read it, but basically, it came down to something to the effect of, "What am I supposed to do with this?" kind of idea. How do I win this? What went wrong? That kind of thing. Has a pretty good game in his T29, but ends up losing. You can see they spawned in here on Tundra into the south. And I watched it, and this is just a really great example of something that is very basic to this game and is very difficult to do. And it is something that stops most people from getting into the mid 50% win rate. And it's the one big thing that stops them. It has a couple smaller breaking out areas we can go through, but the one big thing stopping most people from getting into the mid 50s in win rate is being unable to dynamically read a battle when the battle doesn't go the way they thought it would or they wanted it to. Okay? The battle doesn't go the way they think it should or they wanted it to. Okay? Now, I say think it should, that's where you look at a battle like this and you're set up and you say, I have a T29, and you say, the critical terrain for me is going to be over on the west side, so if I just go hold down there, I have a very powerful T29, and that should do well, right? That's the think it should. The hope it should is I hope everyone else does what I think they should do. Does that make sense? All right? And there's a point at which, as you watch the deployment go and you start to see the enemy tanks show up, where are the reds, where are their big tanks, where's everybody going, what are they doing? There's a point at which you have to take that, and if it's no longer fitting the narrative, i.e. reality is not what you think or hope it is, then you've got to change. You have to do something different. And typically, that doesn't mean continue pushing on your flank, which then gets us into some of the breakout points. One thing I say quite a bit, which is, if you win your flank, and your other flank is losing or your cap is in danger, go back. Period. Dot. End of story. Every time. Okay? Unless you're already that 55 plus player. There's some nuances in there we can discuss. But as a general rule, you almost cannot go wrong by doing that. But first, you have to notice this thing is happening, right? The hope and think. All right. So let's do this. We're going to take a look at Peter Schiavo in his T29. Great setup for him. He's top tier. There's another T29, so this is interesting. He's going to head over to the west side, which is not a bad idea. I think there's an argument for him to go over to the east side because of the hold down capability of the T29 and what he's facing. But let's actually find out what happens in this battle. So an okay peanut butter spread except for the east side. So right off the bat, for me, when I'm watching this develop, I look at that mini-map and go, oof. All right, we got a problem over on the east. That's a huge problem. Now, if the enemy doesn't invest heavily over there, they probably are going to. But I'm going to keep an eye on that. Right off the bat, I know I may have an issue over there. So here we go. We'll just keep on going. And that's the dynamic part. All right, what I thought was going to happen, and then what I hoped my team and the enemy team would do, is starting to not look quite right. But I don't know where that T29 is. Maybe he's coming up here. We have a 34-100. Looks like we have an M4A1 raging around. There's a Leopard. All right, they're KV-13. One of their 7s is up on the hill. Okay. And I have time to watch this because I'm just driving forward. Now, I need to look forward, but I need to cross-check over to the mini-map every once in a while. So let's just stop it here as we approach, and we're going to start thinking about taking our first shots. Skoda T25, Cromwell, KV-13. I have a WZ camping in the back. It's a TD, fair enough, trying to get shots. The Sturv is headed up there in the E25. They have the hill. That's bad. All right? It's not an auto loss on this map for them to get the hill, but it's not a good thing because we're not even challenging the hill. So now they kind of have free reign. We also have a bunch of guys in the back, and that's not helpful either. Okay? So obviously when we have a loss, it's not all on you. That's not what I'm saying at all. And he's in a tough situation because his team has deployed horrendously badly. But what do we do about that? That's the question. How do we somehow turn this into a win? Which was the question, right? What am I supposed to do with this? Right off the bat, you're behind the 8 ball, and it's going to be painful. I don't know what this scout's thinking, but he just allows himself to be killed immediately. He's like, hey, what's going on, guys? And not a scout, is it? It's just a tier 5. M4A1. So there's a 3001. Holy cow. Yep, they definitely have that hill. Now, the good news is that the Sturb and the E25 and the WZ, for the moment, are keeping them busy enough that they haven't come off that hill. But holy cow, look at the P43, the 3001, and the KV2 are all in the back. The BDR G1B, I don't even know what on earth he's doing. He's hanging out by the cap. But I've come to my west battle where I think I'm going to be the hold down beast, and all of a sudden, ain't no one home. And oh, by the way, the T29 just showed up over on the west side. Right here is where you've got to look at this and go, okay, what I assumed was going to happen did not happen. What I thought would happen and what I hoped would happen are completely different. The enemy actually sent their big kids over to the west side. I'm one of our big kids. Oh, by the way, so is the 34-100, right? That's the green team's tier 7 medium. The E25's over there thinking, holy cow, what am I going to do with this? It is time to back to the cap, man. There's no reason to push this. One of the reasons you don't push this is a difficult map to do the I'm flanking, and you're a slow tank. Plus, there's going to be some guys back there, right? And for the moment, they're not even playing the game. Why let them play the game? They're sitting in a corner. You can't even see anybody right now. 34-100 is actually forward. That means they're way back there along the A or B row, something like that. These guys over here, they're playing the game, man, and you've got to go deal with them because they're being aggressive and pushing in. They're coming off that hill momentarily, and they're going to threaten your cap. And you have to be able to analyze that right now and go, it's not ideal. I wish I didn't have to do this, but I got to turn around. Because if I just push in, I'm going to get engaged with campers who aren't even playing the damn game anyway. I'm going to get stuck there, and everyone over on the east side of the map on my team's going to get mauled. And I am nowhere near where I need to be to help. But what do? We push on in. And this is one of the most, if not the most critical mistake that people make in this game that keeps them from getting to 55%. It really is. Now, the T1 just hit him, so clearly he's camping back there somewhere. That gives us some SA. There he is. And he's just kind of hanging out. He's going to hide, and we're just in our T29, and we're cruising along thinking, well, geez, I hope my really understrength guys over on the other side with all the lower tier, I surely hope that they're able to hold off the enemy's 2 tier 7s while I go take on some campers in the back. Can you see what I'm talking about here? I mean, it's not trying to become personal. Look how fast your guys are dying now. They're just dying wholesale, and we are droning straight into the back. And this is what a lot of players do because they're like, all right, I won the flank. Good, let's push in here. I have an advantage. Let's clean these guys up, and then I'll get back to those guys. No. It's a nice idea. You don't have time. It's a time management problem. And as you can see, your weakened side is getting absolutely crushed. They don't have enough firepower or organization or capability to slow them down, and they're dying without doing much damage. And now we're letting the Arty hit us, so we let the ARL hit us, and we're in the furthest corner away from this thing, and the enemy team is all over us. So we get a kill, we get another kill. We're going to come up here on the Su-122. I would not have driven up and over this. I would have stayed a little bit more hold down and not allowed him to have such a good shot at me. But down he goes, so fantastic. We got him dead too. We got 4 kills, and we're 1,187 damage. And a lot of people, I think, are content to look at that and go, all right, I did my part. I did a good job. I got 4 kills. I got my 1,100. But if you back it up, look at your decision making, and with an eye towards, all right, how could I have won this? What did I really need to do to win this? Not that it was going to win it. Not that maybe I wasn't going to be able to do it, because that's possible too. But what gave me my best shot at turning this thing around? And it was a long time ago. Because now we're stuck in this corner, and we're trying to fight these guys. A couple of their smaller tanks sort of come out and screen. And now your P43 is about to get mauled, so he's not long for this world over there. Their T29 is somewhere probably droning towards you to come help them. And it is now 3 tanks. The Grill A is attempting to avoid detection, hanging out on that corner over there. The 34-100, there's the experimental. And really, at this point, we're just waiting to die. We're trying to take the last few good measure shots out of the enemy. We get another kill there, so fantastic. We're at 5 with 1,700 damage. Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, the Scorpion bounced. Oh, that hurt. The 0-1 experimental. Actually got a shot into our side. That was painful. We get rid of him. Scorpion's trying to take a little peek. Oh, boy, we got guys on our side. They're shooting us from every direction. Here comes the KV-13. We'll get a chunk of him. Fantastic. Oh, there's a Skoda T-25. But this is just to be expected right here. This is exactly what you would expect to happen when you get cornered, surrounded, overextended, no friends around. All your friends died down in the south. You took 2 or 3 north, and it's really no surprise. So this was put on the forum. I'm going to consider it, kind of public property at that point as far as commenting on it. And it's not necessarily just to get on Peter Schiavo's case. 2,200 damage, 7 kills. I think a lot of people would go, all right, that was a good game, fantastic. Well, from a damage output and kill, yeah, it was a pretty good game. But that's not, for me, that's not the question necessarily. Especially if you're going to come in and go ask, all right, what am I supposed to do with teams like this? They're terrible. Well, you know what? The fact is, you didn't help them too much. And not because you made bad decisions on your initial deployment. I thought it was a fine decision, place to go. But because the reaction of the actual situation and what was going on was incorrect. Pushing into the back as the example here and not going back to the cap. So like I said, was that going to guarantee you a win? No. But it was darn sure going to give you a better chance at a win than what you guys ended up doing. So yes, you can push into a weak flank and farm their few guys that are back there, bring them into the game, let them play, or you can try to affect the actual situation that's going on in the game, and that would have been to go back to the cap. And I think if you watch all the best players, they will do that every time. And as a matter of fact, I guarantee it. I'm not even going to say think. That is exactly what they do in a situation like this. You just have to look at it and go, well, my team didn't do what I expected. They didn't do what I'd hoped. But now I have to change what I'm doing, because if I continue to push into the back, nothing good is going to happen as far as winning the game, even though I can farm 2,291 damage. So there you go. There's my 2 cents on that one, man. For everybody else, I think it was a great example for everybody to take a look at. And I say this a lot, but I can guarantee you, if you react to the dynamic game, vice just going to certain spots and pushing from there, and if you then, the subset of that, you win your flank and you just go back if your cap is threatened or the other flank has lost, you're going to automatically increase your win rate, depending on where you started. Once you start talking about 55% or more, there's a lot of other nuanced things as far as winning those battles that are winnable by your actions. There's a few deeper levels in there, but just as a standard, here's exactly what I do every time. I guarantee you, especially if you're sub 50%, it is going to make you better. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you.